This mutation is called Worn Out Welcome. It is played on Temple of the Past. We have 3 mutators active. We have Inspiration, we have Just Die, and we have Long Range. So let us have a look at the masteries. Zagara has put 30 points into the Zagara Energy Regeneration Mastery, 30 points into the Zergling Evasion Mastery, and 30 points into the Intensified Frenzy Mastery. Zagara is going to be playing B2, the Mother of Constructs Prestige. Now, one of the things about Zagara when it comes to Just Die, which causes enemy units to respawn, is that Zagara is not a particularly great commander against this mutation, because Zagara is primarily a burst damage commander. But with this prestige is basically an adjustment that our Resident Mutation Soulless 2-2 has made to just make Zagara a little bit better. The Aberrations and the Corruptors are going to be a little bit more effective at dealing with the enemy units because they are more of Zagara's more sustained damage response to this mutation. Now, if you are just, if your goal is just complete this mutation, there are a lot of commanders that are really great, and you can check the weekly mutation shorts video, but Phoenix is the one that I would, highly recommend if you're not going for someone that's really, really overpowered. Phoenix, I think, is a really good commander because he does have that kind of sustained damage that he needs, and he has very, very strong army units as well. You can see that we already have a set of Zerglings that are going to be nibbling their way on this expansion, and all will be good. The first attack wave will spawn a little bit later as well. Somewhere around 315 to 320 is when the attack wave will spawn. I think there's a little bit of a delay in the mission timings for the triggers on the arcade maps, which this one is. Usually I think the attack wave should spawn somewhere between 3 minutes and 3:15, but I think this one spawns between 3:15 and maybe 3:25, I think is what the timings are for the attack waves. Yeah, there we go. So the attack wave has spawned right now, and the rocks are going to be starting to take damage. So I think this is going to be a set of Marines that are here. It looks like it's just a Marine attack here. And this is, again, going to be one of the issues that Zagara faces. Banelings just get focus fired down by these Marines before they're able to make contact. And remember, the Marines do respawn as well, which can get really, really nasty, especially when they have their stim packs. So these Zerglings now are going to be running at these Marines, and the Zergling Evasion Mastery, getting a little bit of value by causing these Zerglings to dodge some of these Marines' attacks, which is going to be really nice. Now, the one thing I also want to talk about is the mechanics of this Just Die mutator. Now, the way Just Die works, a lot of people think that it is a respawn because, it actually says that they are revived upon death. There is actually no death that occurs on the unit here, so if you're going to pay attention here, take a look at this Marine. The Marine actually does not die. He does not create that little effect on the first time that he actually ends up respawning. Like, you don't see a carcass there, and that is because the unit does not die. The way Just Die works is that the game looks at the enemy unit, and if its HP goes to 0, then its HP, energy, and shields are reset back to maximum. So the reason why I bring this up is it's not particularly applicable on this mutation, but on other mutations where you have death effects, so say something like self-destruction, or alien incubation, or walking infested, or scorched earth, something like that, those death effects will not trigger upon the first, quote-unquote, death of the unit. It will only occur when the unit finally dies. So that is one thing that does, play a role, and it does actually work in the player's favor. So what do we have now in production? We have level 1 attack upgrades, we have metabolic boost, we have a few more Zerglings, a few more drones on the way, and we have an evolution chamber as well, so that's going to be really good. And yeah, Zagara will be slowly working away and getting her aberration upgrades. She's already gotten the Medusa blades upgrade, and she's gotten the heroic fortitude upgrade, and you can see this little hybrid over here now is going to be casting this inspiration buff on these units. So this increases the attack speed and the armor of units. Now remember, this inspiration buff increases attack speed. So Marines already deal an insane amount of damage, and then later on they're going to be starting to get their stim pack, which will give them even more attack speed, and then you're going to have inspiration, which will give them even more attack speed. So if you're not careful, Marines will just absolutely obliterate your army if you have low HP units. And when you're playing up against if you're playing a Protoss commander, this is probably a moment where you may want to consider investing in both armor and shield upgrades if you're up against this kind of composition where you're dealing with Marines and whatnot. I think with the inspiration buff and with stim, Protoss can do really, really well against them if they go for armor and shield upgrades and just mitigate the amount of damage that these Marines can deal. And you can see we already have now these we already have the aberrations out for Zagara. So metabolic boost with corrosive acid, induced blades, heroic fortitude all seem to be decent. We also have now some other upgrades coming up as well. The Zerglings are going to be getting some more HP as well. They're going to be getting the hardened carapace upgrade. They're going to be going for the Shredding Claws as well. So there are going to be a few more Zerglings here. And aberrations as well now will also be getting the protective cover upgrade. So this will give them 50% damage reduction to all the Zerglings that will be sitting underneath them. And that is also going to be really, really useful. 50% damage reduction is not a small amount. It does help very, very much. Void Thrasher, friendly fire, ends up killing off the one turret that the SCV was trying to build, but this Void Thrasher will end up respawning as well. And yes, indeed, the Void Thrashers do respawn with the Just Die Mutator. Again, it can get very, very tricky, but again, nothing that Zagara can't handle at the very moment. But this next point is going to be the tricky part. So Zagara has already started to drop a hatcher here. Her goal is to try and stall the attack waves while she deals with one side. And you can see she's also she's also gotten the queen out to start spreading some creep and just getting that extra mobility and just the extra regeneration and whatnot. So it's going to be a little bit more useful for Zagara to utilize. And again, the aberrations now have broken this down. We have some banelings being morphed here as well, and these aberrations now are going to start taking out these enemy units here. And again, we have some Hydralisks over here as well. Some more Zerglings being made. And are these Zerglings going to charge face first into these? Yeah, they probably do not want to charge at those fire bats here. I think if they charge into those fire bats, bad things are going to happen to them. But again, Zergling Evasion Mastery doing a little bit of work here. There are a few Banelings getting thrown over here by Zagara as well. And then Zagara jumps in as well with her Baneling Barrage and is able to deal with the first of the many attack waves that will be coming down this ramp. So far, so good. Temple's still sitting at 3,000 HP. I'm going to be very surprised if this is going to hit. Like, I know Tutu is capable of getting a 3,000 HP Temple, but I just don't think it's going to be very easy to do. So I'm kind of curious to see whether he's going to be able to get a full perfect HP Temple here. But again, like I said, doing Zagara, you're already capped out at just 100 supply. This in itself is an impressive feat. And now the next set of attack waves have come up. So Zagara has used her Roach Drop over here to deal with the Marines on this side, and Zagara will be slapping away at the rest of the units here. So these units will end up getting cleaned up, and now Zagara is going to be moving forward and utilizing her creep. She's going to get extra mobility here to try and clear out the rest of these enemy units here. Now, also one of the things that might be, I think, maybe a little bit convenient for Zagara as well, is that I don't think the Marines will have, I don't think the attack waves will be bringing detection until you get the big Uber hybrids that will spawn. Which means that her creep tumors are essentially safe and they won't be getting picked off, which, you know, it may not seem like a big deal, but it's a huge annoyance when you're playing, especially a commander like Zagara, where you have to, you know, dedicate even a little bit of APM to getting this creep all spread out properly. And we do have hatcheries that will be probably used as well to spread some more creep. Aberrations now are going to be able to take out the rest of these things here as well. And one of the really nice things is when the aberrations die, they do spawn like a few banelings, so that's going to be a little bit useful as well, just getting that little bit of burst damage as well. And you can see here, that's the invulnerability that I was talking about. Enemy units are invulnerable for a small period of time when they respawn or when their HP gets reset with the Just Die, and that also reduces the effectiveness of burst damage. So again, now we have some Corruptors being added to the mix as well. The enemy composition is classic infantry, so there are not going to be that many air units, but there may still be tuna fish hybrids that will be spawning in some of the attack waves, so that is something of somewhat of a possibility as well. But these aberrations now are just going to start clearing away some more of these enemy units. Zagara does decide to pull back just a little bit, keep fighting on creep, just getting that little bit of extra attack speed as well, and getting a little bit more of this movement speed will be a little bit useful as well. Some of these aberrations do get lifty moved up here, and now Zagara has used her frenzy. She's given an attack speed buff now to her entire army, and the army now is going to be able to clear out the rest of these things. These Corruptors are getting poked away as well a little bit. They will get shooed away by the missile turret, but the missile turret will end up going down. SCV going to go back and repair this missile turret. Apparently Zagara is, yeah, so that is the end of the perfect temple run. I kind of figured like it would not be very viable to try and do, but anyway, we have some Corruptors over here as well now. They have casted the corruption debuff on this Void Thrasher, so they will start poking away on this Void Thrasher a little bit, slowly but surely. There's still another attack wave over here that needs to be dealt with, and now there are some ghosts as well in the mix here. So this enemy composition is the is a classic infantry, so they will have ghosts in the composition. You can see that on the enemy composition indicator. And because there are ghosts in this enemy composition, it does mean that you are also going to get nuked on this map. So it is very rare to get nuked because usually a lot of players will clear their lanes because, you know, this map is fairly simple to play. It's not, you know, you're not really under a lot of time pressure, but it is something that can happen. You can get nuked on this map, so it is something to take into consideration as well. And you can see this Void Thrasher is succumbing to the damage of the Zerglings by getting his armor dropped to 0, and then the Zerglings nibble away, and then the aberrations keep slapping at it as well. The next drop attack will be coming up as well, and now Zagara is repositioning her army, getting ready, making a few Banelings, and this is a Tuna Fish hybrid I was talking about as well. So you can see this Marine over here, like, you know, its inspiration buff is pretty nasty, and now it's gotten stim as well, so I think that was like, what, 50% roughly? A total of about 50%, like, or basically a 200% increase in attack speed, I think is what it equated to. Someone can do the math there, but it is just an insane amount of attack speed when it has stim plus inspiration from the hybrids. And those Marines will actually cause your army to melt. So, very, very important. And as you can see, we are getting armor upgrades here for these units. And Zagara is going for the level 2 armor upgrades as well. So very, very sensible, very, very wise to go for these armor upgrades. Very important. What do we have coming up as well? Oh, we have Bile Launcher upgrades coming up. This is going to be a little bit interesting. So Zagara might actually be using the Bile Launchers either to spawn camp or maybe just to put some Bile Launchers just to you know, just soak up a little bit of damage, or, you know, take out some of the lower HP units of the attack wave. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. Zagara is going to be moving towards this next Void Thrasher. Void Thrasher will get a few hot shots off maybe at the temple. No, does not get that off either. And now Zagara's army is going to be charging in and going to try and take out this Void Thrasher. And remember, this Void Thrasher actually does have a lot of HP. It has the equivalent of, like, what, 6,900 HP? Very nice. So, yeah, it's going to be a while. It's going to be able to soak up a lot of damage, but that Void Thrasher will end up going down. Some Marines are also very upset with Zagara's army. I do not know why they are very upset with Zagara's army, but anyway, Zagara's army is going to be pulling back. They do not have the time. So yeah, so we have some Bile Launchers now being utilized here, extra range here. So just to deal a little bit of extra damage, and what we have up here as well. So yeah, so these Bile Launchers, they're basically going to try, and I don't know if the Marines are actually going to get this close. Like, there may be fire bats that will get picked up by these Bile Launchers, but the Marines are going to be firing from somewhere like over here. So it may be a bit of an issue here with these Bile Launchers. They might not have just enough range here. But anyway, the next highest set of hybrids have spawned, and you can see these Marines now are going to start attacking, and they have stimmed, yeah, 0.86 minus 0.4, so it's roughly a 200% increase in attack speed that they are getting from inspiration plus a sim packs. And remember, these things do an insane amount of damage. You can probably calculate how much damage they're able to deal. If no, you can use the Starcraft Coop.com unit stats calculator to get some rough idea of what insane DPS they have. But yeah, these Bile Launchers are going to be used against these hybrids. Hybrids will end up respawning some roaches as well, just to stall these hybrids while the Bile Launchers deal a little bit of damage. And now Zagara's army has come back, and Zagara's army will be able to pick off the rest of these hybrids. There's still one Tuna Fish hybrid over here. Tuna Fish hybrid duking it out with the Corruptors. And now there's another attack wave here as well. Yeah, you can see what I was talking about here. The Marines are just slightly outside range. They might be able to start hitting the hatchery at some point, but not really too much of a problem. There are a few more Marines over here as well. Siege tanks have sieged up as well, and they're going to start dealing some more damage to the Evolution Chamber. But the Evolution Chamber has been able to tank some of this, and now this last Marine has been sliced and diced up and ends up dying. And now we have another attack wave coming in from the northern side. There's one aberration over here, and he's like, nope, I do not want to go and engage this. And just see how quickly this aberration just gets focused down by the Marines here, and this is exactly what the problem is. Now we are also starting to get some drop attacks coming up. First drop attack has spawned, and this drop attack will get cleaned up very quickly by Zagara. Zagara actually surprisingly filling the minerals as well, so a little bit more effective. There's one annoying siege tank over here. Siege tank will go down, and the next drop attack will be coming up somewhere soon here. So Zagara is going to be making some more spine crawlers as well, just to try and stall. So this one is actually going to be really good. The drop attack will be coming up here, and will end up getting hit by the Bile Launchers as well. Siege tanks coming up, and we also now have a nuclear launch detected. I do not know where that ghost is. That ghost could be over there. There we go. That ghost is over here, and just notice what happened over there with Just Died. The ghost gets 2 lives as well, and you have to be very, very careful. Double nuke coming up over here, so be careful, Zagara. That nuke is going to be coming down. There we go. Nuke does end up going down. Now, One thing you have to be careful of with ghosts is when just die, their nuke does not get interrupted on their first respawn. So you have to kill the ghost twice before the ghost actually cancels its nuke. So beware of that as well. It's gonna get a little bit hectic now. We're gonna be getting the double Void Thrasher spawns in just a little bit. So this attack wave has been completely cleaned up, which will be really good. And that one SCV also, for some reason, was hanging around there. But now Zagara's army will have to try and decide what they want to do. There's going to be a triple-pronged attack wave as well. That'll be a little bit more annoying to deal with. So we have Evolution Chambers over here. So very nice positioning here. We have Evolution Chambers, and then the enemy units are going to start attacking these Evolution Chambers and going to end up getting killed by the... And they will basically get killed off by the Bile launchers. Zagara talking smack to Amon right now when she's just barely hanging on. So we have attack wave, double Void Thrasher spawn, and I think the goal is to just get this temple to just tank a little bit of damage maybe. I think it's something that Zagara wants to do, but I think Zagara's main goal here is deal with this attack wave over here. So attack wave is going to be coming up. There are also 2 more attack waves coming down the 2 ramps over here, and we have some science vessels being a little bit annoying as well. But this attack wave will be essentially cleared out. Then the 2 attack waves now are going to be making their way up the ramp. So Zagara is going to be moving into the northern side, and we're going to have a look at what's going on the southern side. Yeah, these Bile launchers are actually getting a lot of good value over here with their little splash damage here. And over here, these Bile launchers also able to hit. Yeah, Zagara has repositioned the Bile launchers as well. Now they're accurately shooting where they should be shooting, and these spine crawlers as well drawing a little bit of aggro. Very nice usage of the Bile launchers over there just to try and hold this attack wave off, and really nicely handled here. And there's some science vessel as well being a little bit annoying, and aberrations will be moving back as well. Another attack wave, another pair of attack waves are coming up now again on the 2 ramps. And again, this is going to be a little bit tricky. Temple just has to tank the damage, and the attack wave as well on the northern side. Where is Zagara going? Zagara is going to be moving into the north. Over here, again, using the Bile launchers, just getting a lot of good value from these Bile launchers. These Bile launchers are just doing so much damage, and Zagara over here as well uses the infested drop again and just dealing again, just stalling this attack wave. It's not even killing off the attack wave, just stalling a little bit. At some point I want to have a look and see how much damage these Bile launchers have done, because these Bile launchers have been the absolute MVPs of this game. The Bile launchers are actually still able to deal some damage as well, some marines, some firebats as well. Yeah, I think pretty much all the infantry have been killed off here, and now we have some more nukes over here. Where is the nuke? There's another one here as well. Again, this ghost is going to end up getting killed off as well. And I think all that is left is a hybrid. And now we have the triple-pronged attack wave here. This one is probably one of the more deadlier attack waves here. Yeah, there are a lot of kills for the Bile launchers on this side. And again, I think these Bile launchers as well would have been pretty much killed off here as well. So that attack wave is coming up here, and lots of marines moving up here now. The evolution chambers have fallen, and over here the hatchery has gone down as well, and there are more ghost nukes coming up as well. Aberration starting to charge in. Over here there are some ghost nukes coming up. Is the ghost nuke going to actually hit? There's a ghost over here, and that nuke is actually going to land and kill off the... Yeah, some of these Bile launchers do end up going down. There's another nuke coming down here. Irradiate from the science vessels, but it doesn't matter. Zagara has defended the temple, and that is GG.